The battlefield was silent for a moment, a heavy silence that came only after destruction. Smoke rose from burning metal ships. The red sky glowed with fire. Captain Ryan Cole walked slowly through the ruins, his armor covered in dust and ash. His heart was tired, but his mind stayed sharp. The war between humans and the Zilari aliens had lasted 10 long years, and this planet, once full of life, was now only a graveyard. His radio cracked. "Alpha Team, report! No survivors, confirm and move out." Ryan pressed the button on his helmet. "Copy that command," he said quietly, but as he took another step, a sound made him stop. It was faint, soft, like a whimper, a cry. He froze. The sound came again, high-pitched, trembling almost like a child. No one was supposed to be alive here. The bombing had wiped everything out. Still, Ryan's instincts told him to check. He looked around the smoking ruins, twisted steel, shattered glass, black dust everywhere. "Probably a wounded soldier," he muttered. But deep inside he knew it wasn't human. The cry grew louder. He followed it through broken corridors of an alien structure, its walls pulsing faintly with blue light. Each step echoed. His rifle was ready, finger near the trigger. Then he saw movement, something small, curled up near the rubble. A creature, glowing faintly in the smoke. Ryan aimed his weapon, eyes narrowing. "Don't move," he said sharply, though he knew the thing probably didn't understand. The creature flinched. Its skin shimmered silver blue, tiny arms, big crystal-like eyes full of fear and pain. It was a child. An alien child. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. The enemy. The one they were told to destroy. But this one couldn't be older than 6. Blood, glowing like liquid light, ran from its arm. It whispered weakly in alien language, voice shaking. The translator in Ryan's helmet processed the words. "Please, help me." That single word, "please," hit him like a knife. He looked around. His team was far ahead. No one would see him here. No one would know. But the rules were clear. No survivors. Any alien, young or old, was considered dangerous. Still, the child looked up at him with trembling eyes, hand reaching out. "Damn it," Ryan whispered under his breath. He knelt down, placing his rifle aside for a moment. The child was shivering. Its breathing was slow. Ryan took out a med pack, pressed a seal over the wound. The alien winced but didn't pull away. The blue light under its skin flickered softly. "Stay quiet," Ryan said. "I got you." Then his comm crackled again. "Alpha 1, status report. Why are you off the route?" He froze. If command found out, they'd court-martial him. Maybe worse, he pressed his comm button. "Just clearing debris, sir." "Moving soon." A long pause. "Copy that." "Make it quick," Ryan sighed. He looked at the child again. "What do I do with you now?" He whispered. The alien's eyes blinked slowly. Then it pointed weakly at his chest and his armor, and said one word that the translator barely caught. "Hide." Ryan frowned. "Hide? You want to hide?" He looked around. The area was about to be bombed again. He could hear distant engines above, human bombers preparing a second strike. Damn it all. He muttered again. He opened his armor's side storage pod, normally used for energy packs, and looked at the small space. It was tight, but maybe, just maybe, it could fit. The child's body was trembling. The building shook as another blast hit nearby. Without thinking further, Ryan lifted the child gently and slid it inside the compartment. He closed it, just in time. Then a massive explosion tore through the horizon. The ground shook. Fire rolled across the ruins. Ryan ducked behind a wall, covering his helmet with his arms. When it was over, the area was nothing but ashes. He stood up slowly, heart pounding. "Still alive," he whispered. From inside the armor, he heard a tiny sound. A weak breath. The child was still alive too. He took a deep breath, staring at the burning sky. He had just broken the biggest rule of the war. He had saved the enemy's child. He didn't know that far away, high above the planet, an alien queen, Queen Ariala of Zilar, had just felt her child's heartbeat again through the psychic bond of her species. Her eyes glowed with fury and relief, and her voice echoed across the stars. "Find the one who took my child." Ryan Cole had no idea what storm he had just started. Smoke still danced across the battlefield as Captain Ryan Cole moved through the ruins alone. Every step echoed like a warning. The sky above burned orange from human warships circling the planet. His armor was cracked, his breathing rough. Inside the armor's side compartment, something tiny shifted, a faint sound, soft and fragile. The alien child was still alive. Ryan looked around carefully, making sure his team wasn't near. He couldn't let anyone see what he had done. If Command found out, he wouldn't just lose his rank, he'd lose his life. Saving an alien, even a child, was the same as betraying humanity. He tapped his helmet to open comms. Alpha team moving to the west perimeter, checking for survivors. His commander's voice came sharp through the static. Negative, Captain. No survivors are to be retrieved. You know the protocol. Ryan's jaw tightened. Copy that, sir, he replied, voice flat. When the line went silent, he exhaled slowly. His hands were shaking. The war had already killed millions. He told himself saving one small alien wouldn't change anything, but deep down he knew it changed everything. He reached the shadow of a collapsed alien tower. The structure was strange, alive with blue veins of light pulsing faintly in the dark. He crouched and opened the armor's side hatch. The small alien was curled up, eyes closed, breathing weakly. Its skin glowed softly under the faint light. Ryan checked the wound. It had stopped bleeding. The med patch was working. You're tougher than you look, he muttered. The child stirred, opening its silver eyes. It looked at him, not with fear now, but with trust. Its small hand touched his metal glove. Thank you, the translator whispered. Ryan blinked. You understand me? The alien nodded weakly. Little. Yes, you. Help me, he stared at the creature, amazed. It could speak basic human language. But before he could say more, the sound of heavy boots echoed from nearby ruins. His heart jumped. Human soldiers, his squadron, were coming back to sweep the area. Stay quiet, Ryan whispered quickly. He shut the armor pod again, sealing the child inside. A moment later, two soldiers appeared, Sergeant Vance and Corporal Drew. Captain, Vance called, rifle ready. We thought we lost you. Had to check for tech fragments, Ryan said calmly, hiding his nerves. Command wants samples for research. Drew kicked at a piece of alien armor on the ground. These things bleed like machines, he said with disgust. Good riddance, Ryan forced a smile. Yeah, good riddance. His chest tightened. Inside that armor pod was a living alien child, the very thing these men hated. Let's move, Vance ordered. Evac ships waiting, more bombers inbound. As they marched, Ryan could feel every vibration through his armor, and every tiny breath from the small being hidden inside. Hours later, their dropship rose from the planet's surface, engines roaring. Through the window, Ryan watched the world below, once filled with alien cities, now vanish under waves of human fire. His throat tightened. Inside his armor, he heard a faint sound and a small, frightened whimper. He pretended to cough to cover the noise. Drew looked up from across the cabin. You okay, sir? Yeah, Ryan said quickly. Just dust. Drew shrugged and went back to cleaning his weapon. Ryan's mind raced. He couldn't take the child to the human base. Scanners would detect it. Command would order immediate disposal. He needed a plan, current fast. He looked at his datapad. There was a supply outpost nearby, abandoned during the first invasion. Maybe he could hide there. Maybe he could figure out what to do. But as he thought, his wrist device blinked, erasing a signal intercepted. A strange pattern of light appeared, rhythmic, almost musical, the alien child's heartbeat. His armor translator picked up a message coming through subspace. Alien frequency. The words were faint but clear. This is Queen Ariala of Zelar. My child lives. Bring the human who took them. Dead or alive? Ryan's face went pale, so the Queen knew. He closed the comms, pulse racing. He looked down, whispering under his breath. What are you, kid? The child's faint voice came from inside the armor, trembling but calm. I am Aaron, my mother. Will come. Ryan stared out the window at the burning horizon. He didn't know whether to feel relief or terror. Hours later, the dropship landed at the human forward base. Metal walls, bright floodlights, the smell of fuel and fear. As they disembarked, scanners swept over every soldier. Ryan's heart pounded. He prayed the armor's life sign dampener still worked. A guard waved him through. All clear, Captain. He exhaled slowly. He'd made it. For now. As the others went to debrief, Ryan slipped away toward the storage bay. The night outside was dark and cold. He opened the armor pod again. The small alien blinked up at him, eyes glowing softly. Aaron, Ryan whispered, we can't stay here. They'll find you. The child tilted its head. You saved me. I save you too, Ryan frowned. Save me? From what? Before he could ask more, his helmet comm beeped. Captain Cole, report to command center immediately. Priority 1, he froze. They knew something. He shut the armor again, hiding the child once more. As he walked toward the command room, every step echoed louder than the last. Somewhere deep in space, Queen Ariala opened her eyes. Through the psychic bond, she saw flashes, a human soldier protecting her child. Her rage turned into something else. The human saved my blood, she whispered to her generals. He will not die. Not yet. And for the first time in years of war, a single human life, one soldier, became the focus of an alien queen's mercy and wrath. Deep in space, under the shadow of a dying star, the Queen of Zelar stood inside her throne chamber. Silver energy shimmered around her as if the universe itself bent to her anger. Her eyes, twin orbs of blue fire, stared into the void where her fleets waited for her command. Find the human, she said in a cold, echoing voice. The one who took my child. Bring him to me, alive. Her generals bowed in silence. They had never seen their queen this still, this calm. It was the kind of calm that came before a storm that could destroy worlds. Through the psychic bond, she could still feel her child, Arin, faint but alive. That heartbeat guided her across the stars. Somewhere out there, a human soldier carried her blood. On the human side, Captain Ryan Cole sat alone in a dim interrogation room. The metallic walls hummed with power. 2 officers stood before him, Colonel Ward and Dr. Mira Halden, head of the military's Alien Research Division. Ward's voice was sharp. Your comm log shows signal interference during your last mission. Explain. Ryan kept his face blank. Radiation from alien tech, sir. It jammed our systems. Dr. Mira tapped her data pad. Strange, because that interference matched an alien psychic frequency, one used by the Zalari Queen herself. Ryan's stomach twisted. Maybe she was calling her people. Ward leaned forward. Or maybe she was calling you. The room went silent. Ryan could feel sweat running down his neck. His mind raced. If they scanned his armor, they'd find the hidden life signature. Aaron. The child was still tucked inside, sleeping, weak but alive. He had only one option left: escape. That night, when the base lights dimmed, Ryan made his move. He walked calmly toward the hangar bay, helmet on, face hidden. Guards nodded as he passed, a decorated soldier returning to his quarters. But instead of going to the sleeping quarters, he turned toward the launch hangar. Ships rested there, transport drones and patrol craft. He chose a small one-man scout ship, fast and light. Once inside, he opened the armor compartment. The alien child stirred. Its silver eyes opened slowly. We leaving? It whispered. Ryan nodded. Yeah, kid, we're leaving. He strapped in and started the engine. The ship hummed to life. Red lights flashed across the bay. He was stealing military property, but there was no turning back. As the hangar doors opened, alarms blared. The base woke up like a beast. Soldiers shouted over comms, "Unauthorized launch. Stop that ship." Ryan pushed the thrusters to max. The small ship shot out into the night sky, flames chasing behind. Laser fire streaked past him. Explosions shook the air. But Ryan's hands moved fast, his mind focused. He had flown through asteroid fields before. This was nothing new. The ship broke atmosphere, roaring into open space. The black sky stretched before him, filled with stars. And somewhere among them, death was waiting. Hours passed in silence. The child slept again, curled in the co-pilot seat, wrapped in a human thermal blanket. Ryan watched the sensors. No pursuers yet. But his heart refused to calm. Then suddenly the radar beeped. A signal, a massive fleet, appeared on the edge of the scanner. Alien ships, sleek and glowing, cutting through the void like blades of light. The Zalari fleet. Ryan's blood ran cold. They found us, he muttered. The child opened its eyes, feeling the presence. "Mother," it whispered softly. "She comes." "Yeah, I noticed," Ryan said bitterly, steering the ship into a nearby asteroid field. Behind them, alien cruisers fired bright plasma bolts that tore through space. Ryan dodged, twisted, rolled through gaps between floating rocks. The ship scraped and sparked, alarms screaming. "Hold on," he shouted. One shot grazed the side, throwing the ship off balance. Panels burst open, sparks flying. The cockpit lights flickered red. The child reached out, placing a small hand on the console. Blue energy spread from its fingers. The damage stopped. Systems stabilized. Ryan stared in disbelief. "You can do that?" "I fix what lives," the child said simply. The moment was brief, but in it Ryan realized this being wasn't just a child. It was something powerful. Something beyond human understanding. Finally, after what felt like hours of running, the ship slipped behind a large asteroid and powered down. Silence again. Ryan floated there in the dark, his chest heaving. He looked at the child. "You said your mother's coming. Does that mean she can find us?" Aaron nodded slowly. "She feels me. Through heart. Always." Ryan leaned back, cursing under his breath. "So no matter where we go, she'll track us." "Not if I hide," the child whispered, touching its own chest. "I can quiet the bond." Its eyes closed, glowing softly, and suddenly the radar went blank. The alien fleet's signals vanished. Ryan stared, amazed. The kid had hidden them, from an entire fleet. "Guess I owe you another thanks," he said quietly. Aaron smiled weakly. "You protect me. I protect you." Ryan looked out at the stars. He knew the humans would label him a traitor. The aliens wanted him alive, maybe worse. He had no home left now. Only the silent stars, and a child who wasn't human but felt more human than anyone he'd ever known. Somewhere far away, Queen Ariala sat on her throne, eyes closed. The connection had gone dark. Her child had hidden. But the queen smiled. "He hides you well, my little star," she whispered. "Let us see how far he will go for you." And with that, her fleet turned, not to destroy, but to hunt. The game between man and queen had just begun. The stars drifted slowly outside the small scout ship as Captain Ryan Cole sat in silence. Every sound in the cabin, the hum of the engine, the slow breathing of the alien child, felt louder in the emptiness of space. He hadn't slept for 2 days. His body ached, but his mind refused to rest. The human command had branded him missing. Soon they would call him something worse. Traitor. He looked at the small alien sleeping under a gray blanket. Aaron's silver skin glowed faintly in the dim light, and tiny breaths made soft ripples of light flow along his arms. Ryan had never seen anything like it. He leaned back and muttered, "Kid, you've caused me more trouble than a whole war." But deep down, he didn't mean it. For the first time in years, Ryan felt something human again. Compassion. The peace didn't last long. His ship's sensors beeped. Faint movement on the radar. Another ship, small, fast, human. Ryan cursed under his breath and started typing commands. The radar signature was familiar. Sergeant Vance, his old friend. Vance's voice echoed through the comm line. "Ryan Cole, respond immediately. We've tracked your signal. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." Ryan froze. They'd found him. He hesitated, then pressed the comm button. "Vance, listen. You don't understand." "No," Vance interrupted coldly. "You don't understand what you've done. Command says you took alien property, some kind of biological weapon." Ryan's eyes flicked toward the child. "That's not true. It's not a weapon. It's a child." "Then surrender it," Vance said. "And maybe you'll live long enough to explain." Ryan closed his eyes. Vance was a brother to him. They'd fought together since their first deployment. He couldn't believe that same voice now sounded like an enemy's. The docking clamps hit the hull. Metal groaned. Ryan's heart pounded. He whispered quickly to the child, "Hide under the panel. Don't make a sound. No matter what happens." Aaron's eyes widened. "They want you." "I know," Ryan said softly. "But they'll hurt you first. So hide." The small alien nodded and slid beneath the floor panel. The ship's door hissed open. Vance stepped inside, armor shining under the light, rifle ready. 2 soldiers followed him. "Ryan," he said slowly, "you really made me come all this way?" Ryan raised his hand slightly. "Vance, listen to me. That thing you're looking for, it's not a weapon, it's a child. I saw it bleeding, crying, scared." Vance cut him off. "You're not a doctor, you're a soldier. Your job isn't to feel, it's to follow orders." Ryan clenched his fists. "Orders? Orders told us to kill anything that breathes different. We've become monsters, Vance." "Maybe monsters are what win wars," Vance shot back. Silence filled the cabin. Only the sound of the ship's air system hissed between them. Vance sighed. "You were always too soft. I'll make this easy. Step aside. We'll take the alien and say you helped us. You'll get your life back." Ryan's chest tightened. "You mean lie? And hand a child to a lab where they'll tear it apart?" Vance's eyes hardened. "Then you leave me no choice." He raised his rifle. Ryan moved first. The cabin erupted in motion. Ryan grabbed the rifle barrel, pushing it aside. A shot fired, scorching the ceiling. He slammed Vance's shoulder into the wall and spun to disarm him. The other 2 soldiers aimed, but Ryan kicked one backward, sending him into a console. Sparks flew. Vance swung back, landing a punch to Ryan's jaw. Blood filled Ryan's mouth, but he didn't stop. He hit back, fierce and desperate. Years of war had taught him how to fight. But this was different. He wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting to protect. Another shot rang out. Ryan ducked, pulled his pistol, and fired at the lights. Darkness filled the cabin. "Stand down," Vance shouted. Ryan's voice came through the shadows. "You don't have to do this." "You already did," Vance growled. They clashed again, a blur of metal and pain. Then Ryan heard something, a small voice from below the floor. "Stop!" Blue light burst from under the panel, bright and alive. The soldiers froze. Aaron floated upward, surrounded by glowing energy. His eyes shone like stars. The light spread across the cabin, pushing everyone back. Ryan shielded his eyes. "Aaron, no!" But the child's voice echoed inside their minds, calm yet powerful. No more hurting. Weapons flew from the soldiers' hands. The metal melted into soft light. Vance dropped his rifle, staring in shock. Ryan reached out. "It's okay, Aaron, they're done." "Stop, please." The light faded slowly. The child fell weakly into Ryan's arms, exhausted. Vance's face was pale. What is that thing?" Ryan looked at him, voice low. "Not a thing. Someone worth saving." Vance's eyes softened for a moment, but then his expression hardened again. He tapped his wrist calm. "Command, this is Sergeant Vance. I've located Captain Cole. He's alive." Before he could finish, Ryan's fist struck his comm unit, shattering it. "I'm sorry, brother," Ryan said quietly. "But I can't let you take him." Vance glared at him, eyes filled with pain and fury. "You've doomed yourself, Ryan. Command will hunt you down." Ryan nodded slowly. "Let them." He sealed the door and threw the ship into hyperspace. The stars stretched into long white lines as the small craft vanished into the endless dark. Far away, Queen Ariella felt a surge of power, her child's energy flaring like a star across her mind. She whispered to her generals, "He protects my blood even from his own kind. The humans call him traitor. I will call him something else." Her eyes glowed brighter. "Son." And so began the next hunt, not of war but of destiny. The ship trembled as it entered the storm of blue clouds. Lightning flashed through space like living fire, shaking the hull. Captain Ryan Cole gripped the controls tightly, his jaw set, his eyes fixed on the swirling chaos ahead. Behind him, the small alien child, Aaron, sat quietly, watching with wide, glowing eyes. "We near my home?" the child whispered softly. Ryan frowned. "Your home? You mean Zeller?" The child nodded. "Yes, Mother waits." Those words sent a chill down Ryan's spine. He had been running from both sides, from his people and from hers. But now somehow he was flying straight into the heart of the alien empire. He didn't know if he was heading toward safety, or his death. The storm cleared and Ryan's eyes widened. Before him floated a world of silver and light. Zealar wasn't a planet. It was a living sphere, its surface alive with energy. Towers of crystal pierced the sky, and oceans shimmered with glowing rivers that pulsed like veins. "Beautiful," he whispered. The ship's sensors beeped. Hundreds of signals locked on. Alien ships surrounded them in seconds, their sleek bodies glowing blue under the star's reflection. "Unidentified human vessel," a voice boomed through the comms. "Power down your engines and prepare for capture." Ryan exhaled slowly. "Guess there's no turning back." Aaron placed a tiny hand on his arm. "They won't hurt you," he said. "Mother will see." Ryan nodded, though his heart pounded like thunder. "Let's hope you're right, kid." Moments later, beams of light wrapped around the ship, pulling it gently down toward the planet. The engines died, the systems froze, and Ryan felt his stomach twist as gravity took over. The ship landed on a smooth silver platform surrounded by alien guards. Their armor shone like liquid glass, their eyes glowing faintly. Ryan unstrapped himself slowly, raising his hands. "Easy, I'm not here to fight." The guards didn't answer. Instead, the air shimmered, and the Queen of Zealar appeared. She was taller than any human, her body radiant, her hair flowing like strands of starlight. Her eyes, bright as galaxies, fixed on him with an emotion he couldn't read. Fury, grief, wonder, all mixed into one. Aaron ran forward, calling out, "Mother!" The Queen moved quickly, catching the child in her arms. For a brief moment, all the light in the room dimmed, as if the universe itself paused to watch. "My child," she whispered, voice trembling. "You are safe." Then her gaze shifted to Ryan. Her eyes narrowed. "And you?" Ryan stood still, chest tight. "I didn't mean harm. I found your child on the battlefield, hurt, alone. I couldn't let him die." Her voice was calm, but the air vibrated with power. "You killed many of my kind." Ryan swallowed hard. "Yes, and I regret every life I took. But this one, I couldn't walk away." The Queen stepped closer. Energy rippled through the floor with every movement. "Do you know what you've done, human?" she asked. "You broke the chain of war. You saved the blood of your enemy. No human has ever done that." Ryan met her gaze. "Maybe it's time someone did." Silence hung in the chamber. The Queen's eyes glowed brighter as she reached forward, placing her hand on his head. Ryan flinched, but then images filled his mind. He saw her world before the war. Shining cities, children laughing under alien suns. He felt her pain, her anger, her loss. And then she saw his. Battlefields covered in fire, orders shouted through blood, soldiers crying behind helmets. When she pulled her hand away, her voice was softer. "You have a heart like ours." Ryan took a deep breath. "War blinded both of us. Maybe this is how it ends." The Queen looked down at Aaron, who held her hand tightly. "He saved me, Mother." He made the fire stop. Tears, bright blue and shimmering, welled in her eyes. She turned to her guards. "Lower your weapons." They hesitated. "But my Queen, he is under my protection," she commanded. From this moment forward, the guards bowed and stepped back. Ryan stared in disbelief. "You're letting me live?" The Queen nodded slowly. "You saved what I hold most dear. You are no longer an enemy, Ryan Cole." Her next words were soft but powerful. "You are one of us now." Ryan felt the weight of her words. A human, declared kin by the ruler of the alien race he had once fought to destroy. Later that night, Ryan stood on a balcony overlooking the glowing city of Zealar. The air shimmered with gentle light. He could hear distant songs, in which the kind sung not in words but in pure energy. Aaron stood beside him, smiling. "Mother says you have a good soul." Ryan chuckled quietly. "Your mother is incredible." The child tilted his head. "She says humans fear what they don't understand." "But you understood," Ryan nodded. "Maybe that's what peace means, understanding the thing you were told to hate." Behind them, Queen Ariala watched in silence. Her eyes softened. "He carries the heart of two worlds," she said to herself. "Perhaps he is the bridge we needed." But far across the galaxy, Human Command had already seen his stolen ship vanish into alien space. To them, Ryan Cole wasn't a hero. He was a traitor, a man to be hunted. And as the first human ever welcomed on Zelar looked up at the alien stars, he didn't know that war was already coming again. The alien dawn rose over Zelar, painting the silver towers in soft light. The city shimmered as if alive, glowing with quiet beauty. For the first time in years, Captain Ryan Cole felt peace. He stood on a balcony high above the alien capital, watching the twin suns rise. Below, Zelari children floated in glowing fields, their laughter echoing like music. Soldiers of light guarded the walls, not with guns, but with calm silence. There was no fear here, no hate, but deep in Ryan's heart unease lingered, because peace never lasted long. The Queen's voice broke the quiet. "You watch the horizon as if expecting war," she said softly. Ryan turned to see Queen Ariala standing beside him, her robes flowing like starlight. "I've learned one thing in war," Ryan said. "When things are too quiet, something's coming." The Queen tilted her head. "Your people?" Ryan nodded slowly. "They'll come for me. They think I'm a traitor." She looked out at her city, her expression unreadable. "And if they do, we will protect you." Ryan gave a tired smile. "That's what I'm afraid of." Hours later, the peace shattered. A low rumble filled the sky. The ground vibrated as if the heavens themselves were trembling. Ryan looked up, and his heart dropped. Human warships. Dozens of them. Dark, sharp, enormous, spreading across the clouds like a swarm of steel. The invasion had begun. "Incoming human fleet!" cried a Zelari guard. "They've breached the outer orbit." Queen Ariala raised her staff, her voice carrying across the city through the psychic link. "All shields active. No one fires unless ordered." Ryan ran beside her as alarms wailed. "You have to let me talk to them." The Queen's eyes burned bright. "They will not listen. They come to destroy, then let me try," Ryan pleaded. "They'll kill thousands if they think I've joined you." She stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. "Do what you must, human." The control chamber pulsed with light. Ryan stood before a massive crystal that connected to all frequencies. He took a deep breath and spoke into the communicator. "This is Captain Ryan Cole. To the human command fleet, stand down." "I repeat, stand down. I'm alive, I'm not your enemy." Static. Then a voice, harsh, cold, familiar. "Ryan, this is Admiral Cross. You have no authority. You are charged with treason against humanity." Ryan's stomach twisted. "Cross, listen to me. The aliens aren't what we thought. They can—" "Enough lies," Cross interrupted. "You sided with them. You'll die with them." The transmission cut off. Ryan slammed his fist against the console. "Damn it!" The Queen stepped forward. "Your people are deaf to truth." Ryan's eyes filled with despair. "They're just afraid," her voice softened. "Then let them see something to fear." Outside, the first missiles hit the shield barrier. Explosions rippled through the sky. The shield shimmered like glass under rain, bending but not breaking. Alien defenders filled the skies, elegant fighters of light meeting human steel. Ryan watched the chaos unfold on the viewing screen. His chest tightened. He could see the insignia of his own battalion among the ships. His friends, his people, and they were bombing civilians. "Stop. Please stop," he whispered. The Queen's eyes glowed fiercely. "They destroy what they do not understand." "Shall I end them?" Ryan looked at her, shocked. "No, please. There are families on those ships. Humans just following orders. Don't make this war worse." The Queen hesitated. Her hands trembled. She wanted revenge, but her child's small voice broke through. "Mother," said Aaron softly. "No more hurting." Her anger faded like smoke. She looked at Ryan and her child, and something inside her changed. "Very well," she whispered. "Then we fight not with hate, but with truth." The shield pulsed with blinding blue light. Instead of firing back, it expanded outward, forming a massive wave of energy that froze the human fleet in mid-air. Every human pilot saw visions flash before their eyes. Alien children laughing, families running, cities burning, all from the Zelari's point of view. For the first time, humanity saw the pain they had caused. In the human command ship, Admiral Cross gasped, clutching his head. What is this?" Ryan's voice echoed through every ship. "It's not an attack. It's their memory, their truth." Tears burned in his eyes. "We started this war because we were afraid. But fear doesn't make us strong, it makes us blind." Back in the throne hall, Ryan fell to his knees, exhausted. The Queen looked at him, truly looked. You could have let them burn, she said softly. But you chose to save them, even after all they did. Ryan met her eyes. Because mercy is what makes us human. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she reached out her hand, her voice low but full of emotion. Then you are more Zalari than most of my kind. The battle above ended in silence. The human ship stopped firing. The Queen lowered the shields. Ryan stood at her side, breathing hard, watching the stars return to calm. They'll be back, he said quietly. Yes, she replied. But next time, they will see you not as enemy, but as hope. Far across the galaxy, the human command recorded everything. The voices, the visions, the truth. And among the chaos, one message echoed again and again across the stars. He saved the enemy's child, and the enemy's mother called him her own. But war was not over yet. It was only changing shape. Silence followed the storm of war. The sky above Zelar was calm once again, painted with silver light from the twin suns. The human ships no longer fired. The alien defenses no longer glowed with rage. Only quiet, deep, trembling, fragile quiet, filled the air. Captain Ryan Cole stood among the ruins of the royal platform, his armor cracked, his face covered in dust. He had seen too much war to trust silence, but this time it felt different. In the distance, the great crystal towers still shimmered, but their glow had dimmed, drained by the battle. Alien healers moved among the wounded. Human soldiers who had crashed during the fight were being helped to their feet by the same aliens they once called monsters. Ryan watched in disbelief. The war that burned for a decade was now hesitating. Beside him, the alien child Aaron held his hand. The child looked weak, but his eyes still glowed softly, the light of two worlds. They stopped fighting, Aaron whispered. Ryan nodded slowly. Yeah, for now. It's not over, came the Queen's voice from behind them. Queen Ariala approached, her robes torn, her crown cracked, but her presence still shone like a star. Her eyes were tired, not from defeat but from centuries of pain. The humans will not rest until they control or destroy what they fear, she said. Ryan looked up at the sky, where human ships still hovered uncertainly, waiting for new orders. Maybe, but some of them saw the truth, Ariala. You showed them what we never understood, and that we both bleed, we both cry, we both love. The Queen studied him. You speak as though you are no longer one of them. Ryan smiled faintly. Maybe I'm not. Suddenly the ground shook. The city's main crystal, the heart of Zelar, began to pulse wildly. Alarms flared in the air. What's happening? Ryan shouted. The Queen's face turned pale. The shield core, it's destabilizing. When we extended the energy to show the humans our truth, it drained the heart. It's collapsing. Ryan looked at the crystal in horror. It wasn't just a power source, it was alive. The energy that sustained the planet was dying. If it collapses, the entire world will fall apart, said the Queen, her voice trembling. Aaron stepped forward. His small body glowed brighter. I can fix it, he said softly. Ryan turned to him quickly. No, you're too weak. You can't, the Queen interrupted, eyes widening. He's right. The heart responds to life energy, to the bond of its bloodline. My child may be the only one who can heal it. Ryan's heart pounded. And what happens to him if he does? The Queen lowered her head. He will not survive. Ryan stared at her in disbelief. No, there has to be another way. Aaron looked up at him, his small hand touching Ryan's chest. You saved me once. Now I save everyone. Aaron, please. The child smiled. That same innocent smile that had changed everything. Don't be sad, protector. We are light. Light never dies. The Queen stepped aside as Aaron walked toward the heart. The great crystal pulsed with chaotic energy, cracking and screaming as lightning rippled through it. Ryan tried to move, but the Queen stopped him gently. He made his choice. Do not take it from him. Ryan clenched his fists, his throat tight. He's just a child. She looked at him with tears in her glowing eyes. No, he is hope. Aaron reached the heart and placed both hands on its surface. The energy flared, blue and white merging into gold. The light wrapped around him, lifting him into the air. His small body glowed brighter and brighter until his form was no longer solid, only light, pure and radiant. Ryan fell to his knees. Aaron! The light burst outward, spreading across the city, across the planet, across the stars. It reached the human ships, the alien fleets, the void between them. And in that single moment, every living being, human and Zellari alike, felt the same heartbeat. It was Aaron's. The war ended, not with words, but with a child's sacrifice. When the light faded, the heart of Zelar stood whole again, shining stronger than ever. The skies cleared. The air hummed with peace. Ryan stood silently beside the Queen. His armor was scorched, his eyes red, his heart breaking. The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder. "He became the bridge," she said softly. "A soul of two worlds," Ryan whispered. "He shouldn't have had to choose." "Perhaps," the Queen said. "But because he did, we now have a choice." She turned toward the horizon, where human ships were lowering their weapons. "The child's memory will live within the heart. His voice will guide us both." Ryan looked up at the sky, tears slipping down his face. "Goodbye, Aaron. You saved us all." Months later, a memorial stood in the center of the rebuilt city, a crystal statue of the small alien child holding a human's hand. Around it, both humans and aliens worked side by side to rebuild what war had destroyed. Queen Ariala stood beside Ryan at the memorial. "Your people will write stories about you," she said. Ryan shook his head. "Not me, about him." The Queen smiled faintly. "Then we shall share his story in both tongues," he nodded. The story of a child who ended a war. As they stood beneath the twin suns, Ryan felt the faint hum of the heart, a soft, familiar voice whispering through the air. "We are one now." Ryan closed his eyes and smiled through his tears. "Yeah, kid," he whispered. "We finally are."